Welcome to the Crow's Nest. I'm your host, B.A. Sparks, aka Carrion Crows. The Crow's Nest is dedicated to bringing you guides, tips, and helpful hints. Really anything to help you elevate your gameplay for PGI's Mechwarrior Online. To start things off this episode, we'll be covering one of the more skill-based weapons in MWO, the Ultra Autocannon 5, or as we call it for short, the UAC5. Lately, I've seen a lot of people struggling with this weapon because of how often it jams, and then watching them get frustrated and remove it from their mech, which is a shame. The UAC5 is probably my favorite ballistic weapon in the game right now for its power and versatility, allowing it to hit far above its meager 9 tons when the situation calls for it. Now, the UAC5 has gone through several tweaks and balances and changes as the game has progressed, and no doubt it will change again in the future. But for right now, let's cover the facts and go over the few stipulations with this weapon. The UAC5 weighs 9 tons and has a cycle time of 1.5 seconds, and a jam chance of 20%. When you activate the UAC5's Ultra mode, the UAC5 will fire a second round up to 0.5 seconds after the first or any time in between. There are a few things a person must remember when using the UAC5 to get the most out of their weapon, with the least amount of frustration. The UAC5 has always been used in a singular nature. The UAC5 is a very hands-on weapon. It requires a significant amount of your attention when using it. So until you get very experienced with this weapon, I recommend not pairing it with any other weapons and only packing one of them. Now, the UAC5 is not a chain gun. Despite the rather awesome looking barrel and how it rotates when you fire the UAC5, it is not a weapon meant for sustained fire. One should never just mash down on the firing key and hold it down. I believe this is a mistake that will needlessly jam your gun and prevent you from really doing some great damage. The UAC5 is basically just like a regular AC5 that offers the ability to occasionally fire an additional double tap shot. So really, the best way to use the UAC5 is to orientate your thinking towards this new direction. The best way to do this is to learn to tap the firing key. Click, let it go. Tap it. Get into a rhythm and a beat going of tap, tap, tap. And then when the situation offers itself to you, then you tap, tap to get the double rate of fire, and then back to the steady tap, tap, tap. What do I mean when I say the situation offers itself up to you? Well, for one thing, when the target is within 600 meters or effective range of your UAC5. Trying to use the UAC5 at double rate of fire on a target that is outside of 600 meters is just taking a needless risk for an attack that won't even deal full damage and can jam your gun when you really need it. Now, this may seem kind of obvious, but another situation where you don't want to risk the double rate of fire is if you're not sure if you're going to hit your target. Unless you're pretty sure you can nail your target with bull shots, then it really isn't worth the risk. Even with the chance to nail someone with bull shots, I will rarely risk the double rate of fire unless I'm sure I can not only hit the target with both shots, but hit the target in the same location. Honestly, the above situation is what makes the UAC5 really shine. When that target presents itself, you can just double tap the same location for a solid 10 damage. Now, the last point I want to make about the UAC5 is even though you may be a rock star at using the UAC5 on regular mode, when you do access that ultra mode, there's still a 20% chance for you to jam the gun and may still jam on you even though you did everything correctly. Hopefully, with the above points, it'll ensure that you get the maximum uptime with the least amount of jamming, allowing you to unlock the UAC5's massive potential. And the last point is the most important. Keep your cool. Don't panic when you're being pressed, and remember, tap, 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 tap. That's it for this episode, Mechwarriors. Tune in next time for the Crow's Nest begins breaking down the MWO's maps and the best strategies, positions for those maps, and how to counter them. Take care.